Hi guys and gals, it's Pete, Mindwiseman's channel, aka Maverick Outdoors, and I'm just trying to square myself up here. You can see on the Thames today it's the second weekend in September and it's a really sunny day. It's going to be sunny all this weekend. As you can see, it's quite busy, but all the leisurely or sports paddlers, but I haven't seen any hardcore bushcrafters as yet, so mind you, they might be secretly banking up somewhere. But you can see there's a lot of traffic. So I'm out for the weekend. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll just pan up. You can see how good the weather is by the height of the aircraft are flying up there. I don't know if you can see the fumes. You can see it's a really nice day, and just inflating the canoe at putting made me really sort of hot and a little bit perspiring, whereby the vest got stuck onto my back, so hence stripped to the waist and off to make my way up there. An absolutely perfect day to come out on the waters, and it's going to be like this all weekend, all day tomorrow, so welcome to the journey. There's a little Thames backwater behind me there that I navigated round, or I think it was late summer last year, so I'm just passing that now. It's got a little bit quieter, so there's some competitive rowers that are just basically making the most of the weather. I mean, look at that blue sky. Absolutely awesome. Alright, doggy. Okay, so we've moored up, and what I'm just going to quickly recap. The last video I did, I included some of the how I distributed the kit in the canoe, but I mean it's stating the obvious really. I mean it's exactly the same as what I featured last time. In the front, just there is the kit, shelter kit. In there is food and bits of EDC, and in the dry bag is any extra little bits of clothes I need, and obviously my sleep kit. But obviously that space at the front, that area there, is obviously heavier kit than maybe what I've got at the back here, which is the inflation pump, the folding seat, the cook kit and some water and the seat, and obviously me here. So obviously I want as much weight as possible distributed at the front so it counterbalances my weight, but obviously I've got to have stuff in the back as well and utilise that space. So it's obviously the stuff that fits in there safely and effectively, and the lightest stuff in comparison to the heavier stuff at the front. So I thought I'd just verify that, because I have been getting over the past few months sort of messages about or questions about, you know, sort of how I load the canoe, but it's sort of distributing the weight properly really. But I have included it in videos in the past, but I thought I'd just sort of re-specify some of the aspects behind it. I had a paddle round for about an hour, sort of all around the waterways around here, and I was actually going to go to a spot that I'd not pitched up on before. But then there's sort of quite a few launches and houseboats because of the weather. It's brought people out, so not far off where I am. There's people dotted around, so I like to be nice and secluded and solo. So I thought what I'd do is I'll come back to my normal pitch that I've featured recently, and then I know where everything is, I know where all the wood is procured. I mean, it's easy to do it another time, but I thought, you know, it's a chill factor. I just want to really sort of nice and relax, and maybe include a few things that I've not featured in some of the videos before. Hardly any current in it whatsoever, and it's the smoothest I've seen it this year so far, so that's going to be an easy paddle back tomorrow in the sunlight. But as I say, I can't keep reiterating it. It's a brilliant weekend. It's one of the best ones I've had a chance to do this year. So okay, I'm bashed to the max. Exactly the same setup as last time when I'm here on this pitch. Poly tarp, looped over the top, Although, again, standing, I just love my standing space. I just love being under a basher, and you can stand up, it's brilliant. It's not expected to rain for at least, well, over the next 24 hours till this time tomorrow. The time's now 4 o'clock on Sunday evening, the second weekend in September. And we're supposed to have exactly the same weather as this tomorrow. Hang on a minute, I'm going to glint you with the sun. So it's really nice sun cascading through the trees. But so we're going to be like this until even tomorrow night. In the UK, some wet weather's expected sort of from the beginning of next week sometime. But I mean, I wouldn't really need to have this shelter up, this poly tarp. But you know, just in case there is a sort of unexpected little bit of rain during the night, it saves me getting up and setting it up. I would have preferred to just sort of lay down there with nothing above me. If I get up during the night, I might actually just do that, just for the sheer hell of it, actually take it down. Especially if we know we're sort of 99.9% sure that we're not going to have any rain. So I know there's a lot of discussion about poly tarps, you know, whether they're any good, but I mean, let's face it, I'm not in the sort of Outer Hebrides or in the Antarctic or, you know, anywhere really with extreme weather. And if it does kick up a breeze tonight, it's only going to do that. Yeah, they are a bit rattly because of the synthetic plastic. Normally these ones can go down to sort of minus 20 degrees centigrade in the freezing cold, so they don't sort of like seize up and crack, but I would imagine anything sort of beyond that. But let's face it, if we were sort of in really inclement weather, then we'd most probably be using much more sturdy tarps or bashers, more than you know, than actually using a poly one. But I've had a few inquiries, especially recently. But I mean, they've got the little eyelets. Now obviously the corner ones are going to have a bit more stress, but it depends how much you pull them. I mean, I always check my stuff before, during and after. That goes for bungees. These, I'll always give them a test before I use them, after I've used them, during the time I'm using them, especially if I'm out for a while. But if anything does go on these, the weakest point will be the corner eyelet. Obviously my ground sheet is a poly tarp, and you can see the eyelets have come out of this, but this been actually has been given quite a bit of hammering. But talking about the ground sheet, what I tend to prefer is the right angled peg with that sort of shape on the top, or that sort of digs in like that, rather than the sort of rounded curved bit. I've got plenty of those, but it's just a personal preference for me. The less that's protruding from the ground, just to keep that faster so it doesn't kick up and get inconvenient and just sort of get caught underneath you. But for me personally, I like to use the flat ended metal pegs, because there's less chance, you know, if your foot scuffs. I know the little curved ones aren't really that much higher, but it's just a personal preference, so it's something worth considering if you've got a choice between either the curved, the hooked end pegs, or the flat ones, because once they're pushed in, they're flat down and there's nothing that's going to trip you up or get caught on anything. Because my fire pit has been dug up before, I bought one of these lightweight plastic trowels. I mean, I pushed it about before I bought it in case there was a sort of a weak point around there. 99 pence or $1.50 US or $2 Australia, $2.45 Australia, something like that. And because I know this ground is soft, it's going to dig up quite easily, so it's not going to be a problem. So it's lightweight, and I thought I'd just see how I'll get on with one of these. I've got the little stainless steel pocket one, which is about the size of your hand, and the handle sort of folds over a bit like a mess tin handle, sort of folds over and you can put it in a pouch. I mean, I've got one of those, but I didn't want to bring it with me because I thought I'd just try this out, and I think this is more sturdy and more practical. As I say, considering the ground that I'm going to be turning over is quite soft anyway, so, and I know sort of coming at the time I'm going to be here, I'm not going to be digging any big trenches where I'd have to actually use my small spade shovel. As you can see, desert boots. Might be the last time this year, considering this really mild weather, so it's really nice to put these on. Pair of shorts, had a vest on, but so I took that off, but I use this. This is me sort of drying, mopping up sweaty brow, sort of using that, and it did get a bit wet as well from the splashes of the paddle, because I was doing quite a lot of paddling before I actually moored up and then came onto this pitch. So the sun was actually sort of coming through here just now, so I thought I'd hang that up, and black doesn't reflect the heat or the light, so that's nearly dry now. During the course of this vid, you might hear sort of shouting and screaming in the background, say these competitive paddlers. I've mentioned before, acoustics and sound travels on the waterways, so what could be sort of a kilometre away could actually sound as if it's only 100 metres away. And I know the guys that are paddling are right in the distance, but there's a lot of competitive paddling going on, or training, because not far from here, either side of where I'm pitched, there's a couple of sort of paddling and competitive rowing establishments, so bound to get them about. But God, blinking hell, I could do with some peace and quiet, making some blinking noise. Who do they think they are, coming out on a lovely sunny day, spoiling my blinking tranquility? A little ditty, yes I said ditty, on my preference to actually sort of stack in my kit. Because I'm right-handed, of course, here's my right hand, hi. It's then easier for me to get stuff that I might need, or as a main prerequisite, I keep it to the right hand side because it's easier to get to. I mean, this is my sleep kit in here, so I won't be getting that, and some extra bit of clothes, and this is stuff that's not urgent. So I can leave that to the left, whereas if this is something I'm going to keep getting to, and so will these little items here, if they're to the left, and stuff I'm not going to use is to the right, then my arm's sort of going in between. So it's better, I personally think, for me, I prefer to work it where if I'm right-handed, stuff that I actually need, I keep to the right, so then I can actually work out to the right as I'm taking stuff out, because nothing is in the way. Bit pedantic, I know, but just it's nice to be organised, and I can sort of do this blindfolded. I always know exactly the type of kit I have, where it's going to go in the canoe, exactly in the same places. And then also when I set out my ground sheet and I'm bash it up, everything always goes in the same place. So where everything is sort of blindfold basically, so it's just keeping a lookout for what you're doing, and also knowing where everything is on the ground level, so that everything is safe, so that nothing causes. And especially branches, always take stuff out from eye level, so that you know, nothing can sort of protrude or be dangerous, because you never know what you might get actually stuck in parts of your anatomy. So, you know, be out there and be safe. You're lapping up the sun. Are you a sun dog? Are you a canoe sun dog? Okay, it's coming up to about 4:15. I've got about, it starts getting dark now about 8 o'clock, especially where I'm now in the sort of undergrowth, so it'll get a little bit darker. It will really feel dark at sort of 8 o'clock. So I've got about sort of a good 3 hours, so I'm going to sort out the fire pit now, get some wood, and the next thing you'll catch me is cooking some campfire food. Bring it on. Famous last words. Okay, you saw me in one of the last videos, sort of this glorified matchstick which I've acquired. So what I'm going to do now is actually basically light up with a bit of cotton wool, stick the fire steel on that, then that'll ignite this, which, as I'd mentioned before, stays burning for about a good 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll put some of the dry grass on it, burn that through, but this will carry on burning even in theory if the dry grass goes out. So here goes. Okay people, got the fire really going well, and this is what little concoction I'm going to be knocking up. Got some onion, mushrooms, courgette, carrot, red pepper. Some of this is actually going to be used for tomorrow when I've got some seared sweet chilli tuna, but I think tonight's meal what I'm going to do is the spicy maple syrup and spicy seasoned pork strips belly, sweet corn on the cob in its husk. I'm going to douse that with water, put that back over, and then put it in the coals with the jacket potatoes. So tonight's meal is going to be the pork, jacket potatoes and that corn on the cob, and I think I'll save the rest of the fresh veg to cook up tomorrow when I have my dinner. But I've got a really good concoction for my breakfast tomorrow, but I'll tell you about that when I do it. Okay guys and girls, I'm going to do the pork. I didn't bring my rack. I normally leave the grill rack that I put over the coals of the fire here, but I took some stuff home for maintenance and I didn't bring it with me, so I must recook it that I did last time. I'll actually cut it into smaller pieces and put it in the stainless steel mess tin. But you'll notice over here, got the corn on the cob still in its husk, and I put it on the coals. But what I did prior to putting it actually on the coals, I sort of peeled back. If you imagine, I sort of peeled that back, just the top, so it exposed about a third. I endeavoured to gently just trickle some water, so hopefully it's taken on the inside surface of the husks, the leaves, and moistened the inside of the actual corn kernels, and then close it back up, and then just poured some water on the actual husked cob itself, so hopefully it sort of steams. I mean, they're not that porous, but if I do think it's burning a bit, then I might just douche it a little bit more, keep an eye on it. And then the jacket potatoes, you can see, hope the smoke didn't get in your eyes then. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3, 2 for me, and a T-R-E-A-T. I won't say the word, otherwise she'll be jumping up and down and going, well, where is it then? A T-R-E-A-T for her as well. So I've got 2 and she's got 1, because she do like a chomp on the old jacket potatoes. So if there's enough light when I serve it up, at least you know what I'm having for dinner anyway. But I like the idea. I haven't done cobbing the husks on the coals for a long time, so looking forward to that. Okay, what I've done with the corn is I've kept it away from the sort of really igniting coals, and as they've sort of tempered down a little bit, moved them over and then just rolled it over. But if it's too near to the flaming coals, it obviously starts to burn the husk leaves. And of course, when you're cooking stuff on the coals, you just want the heat to transfer rather than actual flames sort of bashing into them. It's a little bit different with the jacket potatoes in the foil, but obviously because of course the foil is not ignitable, so the heat travels through. But the old leaves did actually flare up a little bit, so I've just been rolling them over the coals. As you can see, it looks as if it's starting to, so I don't really want the coals to get straight onto the corn itself. So what I'll do is I'll move that around where that bit of exposed corn, see what I mean? So it just flames up, so I actually want the heat there. So I'm going to prepare that. That must recook first, and even if it's just a little bit crunchy, al dente, it's still going to be 5 stars, so that'll be spot on. And then as the potatoes go through, I'll start cooking up the pork in a little while. Okay people, you can see I've put the pork in the mess tin and put it on some coals. The potatoes are still in there, but you can see the corn. I'll peel this back. That feels just right. So I'm just let it cool down a little bit, and then I can sort of hold either end. It's really steamed through well. You can see the inside of the leaves, look, they're just a little bit scorched, but not from the flame, just where the heat has travelled through. And you can see there's no burn there at all. So I'm going to peel that back, spread some butter on it. A little bit of a starter for piece de resistance. Sorry people, I've just got to get back to you. That is the best corn on the cob, honestly, I have ever tasted. It's sweet. I'm not putting any butter on it, I just want to have the natural flavour as it is. It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely fantastic. I can't believe I'm so excited about a corn on the cob. Okay folks, I've taken the jacket potatoes out, taken my two, and you can see there's Karsha's one there, she'll be having a little while. And then just here on the mess tin is the pork, and also the jacket spuds, two of them with some butter and tomato sauce, and also some of my little spicy powder sauce that I have in that little tiny white round container, so I sprinkle that on it as well. But I cannot tell you how awesome that sweet corn was. It was absolutely fantastic. I'm glad I've got another two in my fridge when I get home. Okay, so the coals are dying down. I'm just about ready to get this scoff down my throat, the old pork and potatoes. The embers are dying down a little bit, but when I've finished eating, I'm going to put some more wood on the fire, brush some of those coals over, and put the old little stainless steel kettle on for a boil and a brew. Okay folks, got the kettle on some coals for a brew, a little bit of a fire to the side of that so I can then stack up some more coals if that needs boiling up a bit more. But it's now 10 o'clock at night. You can see as I pan up, it's dark. So I've got the radiance of a torch here. So from actually going from pair of socks, underwear, desert boots and shorts to now wearing, just had a quick wipe over with some wet wipes, so I'm a bit sort of desert clobbered up. Put some cargo trousers on, t-shirt over my vest, and so I can feel the sort of coolness, because obviously there's been no cloud cover, which in turn means that any heat has sort of obviously escaped up now. But it's a mild night, it's a starry night, and I'm going to have a brew, dunk some biscuits, usual thing, to finish off the evening, and then just chill on my new self-inflated mattress. Perfect end to a perfect day. Dunking biscuits in a hot nice cup of tea. As the fire dwindles down into embers, I'll put a few more bits of wood on. I'll keep it going for another hour or so yet. But yeah, perfect end to a perfect day with a brew, biscuits, and just chilling. Quality, can't beat it. Good morning. It's an absolutely sunny Sunday morning.
As I mentioned when it was dark last night, the temperature dropped a little bit last night because there was no cloud covering the sky, and yesterday was a really sort of one day that we've had of real heat in comparison to the previous week. So of course there'd been no real ground heat in this area, so whatever heat came through yesterday, albeit it was about, I think about anything from different parts of the south of England, of the UK, was about anything from 25 to could be striking up to about 28, 29 degrees, so you know, real summer weather. And so anyway, the chill factor kicked in, so hence I had me softy thermals on top of my cargo trousers, t-shirt and fleece, and also it's folded up now upon awakening, but my trusted Tropical Army sleeping bag, which I had zipped all the way down one side, but at the end I kept zipped up like I've done. I've featured it before many times in the videos, but where the end bit I can just hook over my boots, so then the sleeping bag is actually opened up, spread over either side of me, so plus the Karsh can get underneath it as well. Put a coat on last night so she can get a chill. Clear blue, sunny sky day. The Canoe, because the temperature dropped last night, I've mentioned this before as well, how air expands in the heat, and then of course when it's cold it shrinks, and the Canoe was looking a little bit more deflated than what it is now. So just slightly concerned. I thought, oh god, I hope I haven't got a leak, but it just, you know, you get used to the feel of the Canoe, different temperatures, it's just something you intuitively get used to, and I thought no, that's actually a slight contraction of the air because it was cold, so obviously it looks as if it's deflated, but I haven't touched it and it's looking inflated again, because of course the temperature, the inflation from yesterday was just the right pressure for the coolness of the water and also the warmth above, not inflating it too much so the heat expands the air and then of course you get damage to the bladders, but that kept it at the same pressure as it has been all day yesterday, and it's virtually returned to it, so that's okay. Right, so I'm going to get my sleep kit off, get freshened up, put my summer clothes on, my vest and shorts, and make something to it. Outdoors in it, bedroom ready for inspection. Thermal softy jacket, thermal softy trousers, 2-season army issue, sleeping bag, togs up, hoods around the head, buff for the head, makeshift pillow if the inflatable one deflates. Random, I know, but just put it in for the crack. You chilling, dog? Yeah, you're right. Random, but actually, which leads me to this Mozzi net. Any sort of improvised attachment to the top of the tarp, whether it's a clip on and then loop the loop, which is joined onto the net, or there I've just got a little bit. I would use a stronger bit than that, but it's just a bit of really strong gaffer tape. It drapes down, there's the headspace, and you can see it then just goes along. It's got eyelets here on all the corners, or you can tuck. There's a little bit of a sort of a box effect the way it's sort of stitched, so even if this was hung up it would still sort of drape down at a sort of angle, so it does box you in round the edges, but I just tuck it under the mat, all around the corners, all around the mat, so it's that extra bit of protection from anything that's flying around or that might nip you. So I've only used this once, but that was when I first got it about, I think it's nearly 4 years ago, but sort of never used it. But obviously with this weather I thought I'd bring it out. I brought it out a few times, but I thought I'd just show you. Improvising a Mozzi net that's separate to the rest of your kit, which then packs into this little bag.
So as in the last video, the previous wild camp, which was the end of August 2012, I featured sort of how I did this. For any sort of new subscribers or first time watching my videos, if you want to recap on some of the stuff, it's in past videos as far as, you know, what exactly is in my kit. So the sleep kit's in there, but what I did bring with me this time round, it was designated not to rain, but, you know, always be prepared. So I thought, rather than bring my jacket, if it did rain, then I'll just have an exercise in my poncho, paddling back, wearing that. It can also convert into a shelter as well, but maybe I'll feature that on a separate review, or when I'm out and about on my travels another time. Just hanging the old vest up for an airing. It's not too musky. Musky? Yeah, okay. Musky. Yeah, we'll leave that in. It's not too musky, and so anyway, that's left for an airing. And then just over here, the shorts that I took off last night before I donned these cargo trousers. I just left on top of the rucksack. Just obviously the dampness that's in the air, not really damp, obviously I felt it, so I just hang it up for about an hour, and the sun was sort of coming through this way, so they're nice and just feel warm, so I can put those on in a mo. Just showing you a few domestic things, really. Okay folks, just another bit of domestic campcraft. This is my fold up vinyl bowl, plastic bowl. As you can see, it sort of folds up, sort of narrower than my hand, and then just slips down the side of my cook kit bag. But I've got some sort of, you can see, green garden wire that I wrap round it when it's folded up in the kit bag there. And then I've just made a form, a circle form, and folded that over so it keeps it in position and makes it rigid. And I'm going to put some water in there and give this a rinse. So this is my sweat rag, sort of perspiring that, sort of wipe your brow. So I'm going to need to be using that again today, so I don't want to be wiping back a load of gunge and muskiness back on my body. So I'm going to fill that up, give that a good douche, and then hang it out somewhere where it's sunny. Always sort of get used to looking around what you can use, you know, sort of improvise. I mean, what I've done here, this is my little washing line now. The sun is sort of coming round to here. I was going to hang it on that one, but of course it would have missed the sunlight because it had been facing that way, and the sun's coming this way. So I sort of pulled this one round, if you can see what I mean, pulled that round, and then got this little branch here to lever over the top to sort of hold that in position, because that was originally round here. So obviously you can see it's not getting the sun, and it would take ages for the sun to come round onto it. So that swung that back round here. Just get rid of that little leaf, and you can see it's catching the sun, and that will dry out. So basically this one is kept in position by just levering that over there. Improvised washing line from a natural standing bit of equipment. Another little bullet point domestic. There's a fold up bowl. You can see there's the wire that I sort of wrapped around it to give it some form, so it didn't fold back into its shape when it's obviously stored, so it helps it keep its shape. But what I've done, there's the loop hanging on a little bit of twig that I had the vest on earlier on, and just pull it down at an angle, so if there is any water in there, this sort of plasticky vinyl, it sort of doesn't gather the water. It's like a sort of, if there's such a thing, non-stick plastic, and sort of pull that down, so if there is any water it's going to drain down and then just go at its gravitational point. So I've just sort of formed that, and that'll be dry in no time. Okay guys and girls, there's my toast, which by now you know I do on a little toaster frame. Single burner stove on full blast, place that on top, put the toast around it. As I say, you've seen that before, but if you're first timers to my vids, that's how I've made the toast. And now what I've got in this bag, I'll show you, this is going to be for my brunchy breakfast. Okay, it's wrapped in foil to try and keep the coolness in. This came out the freezer on Saturday morning before I set off, and it was also with the pork strips that I had last night, and this obviously is defrosted. It actually defrosted by last night, but I kept it cool by keeping it right at the base of the bag, surrounded by one of my water bottles, which was still fresh cold out the fridge and was keeping cold because of the fleece liner in the bottle cover. So I tried to keep it as insulated as possible, and this feels really cool to the touch, so this won't have perished or gone off, because it's got quite a concoction of stuff, which I'll show you in this photograph as it was prepped before it was cooked. Okay, so in the stainless steel mess tin I've got the diced potatoes, the chipolata sausages, 3 of them that I cut into quarters so they cook easier and quicker, plus as well then will heat up easier when I mix it up, rather than having sort of long strips of sausage which then a bit difficult to roll up, just easier to cook basically. And then some streaky smoked bacon that was all cut up into small bits, some mushrooms, some onion, bit of seasoning, some beans, some grated cheese, and then also eventually you can see some scrambled egg in there which I added. But of course the things that take the longest to cook when I cooked it all at home will be the sausages, the onions, potatoes, especially the potatoes. I put those in first, then as they start to half cook, then put the sausages in, then the onions, and then eventually the bacon, because the bacon's very thin, so it was easy to, with animal instinct, intuition going in there. Heard a sort of to hear something crack in the background. It's where a bit of standing deadwood that I put up has just actually fallen down, slid down on the ground. So it's like, oh, what's behind me? Stealth mode. And as you can hear that banging, someone's moored up a boat right on the other side of the island. So anyway, back to the food. Just sort of think of the stuff that takes longer to cook, start doing that first, and then the stuff that cooks least amount of time, put that right at the end. Let it cool down. I added the beans to it. Obviously I didn't have to heat those up because I already cooked out the tin. Added the beans to it, and then the cooled scrambled egg. That's what it is. Put it in the bag, put it in the freezer so it can stay there indefinitely for sort of good 3-4 months. And as I say, I took it out before I left, so a bit different from the old tin stuff. But I did actually have a similar concoction when I did the stealth camp. The stealth camp with Trangia Swedish Army cooking. So anyway, I'm going to start getting this scoff on the go. What a shame your screen is not going to be scratch, sniff and lick. Just a low heat so it cooks through gradually. So it's just starting to sizzle and bubble. But it's virtually enough heated all the way through, so I've been keeping it on the go for about 3 minutes. So that's the old Bushcrafters brunch. Buttered toast, chilled out dog that will get some TREAT. I'm going to say, what I will do is I'll actually say the word in a little while when I give her some, and you can see how she reacts. And then I'm going to put some water on the boil, just for some simple sachets of coffee, because that's a ½ litre mug that only does about 200 to 250 millilitres. So 2 of those will make me a nice decent mug of fresh coffee. And get some calories down my throat, because I'm going to be doing some paddling in a little while. As you can see, I've taken the tarp down because I don't need it. So I've tidied up some of the ground, so I've got a bit more sort of living space. Just feels a bit more open and natural. And then I'm more than likely to be going out on the rivers in a little while. So anyway, I'm going to tuck into this now. Akasha's very disciplined. I mean, at home I don't allow her to come in the kitchen unless, you know, I say so. So, you know, the hygiene and what have you. I mean, she's not infested with anything, of course, but you know, she knows her place, and you know, I try to keep her well trained, especially when you're sort of outdoors. If you can train them well at home and domestically, then when they are outdoors and they get used to it, you know, they function the same way. But I mean, you can see she's sort of chilling because she heard the word. She. Here he's pricked up again. She knows all these different words, but you can see she's well chilled. And you know, there's still toast on the floor, as I call it, TREAT, which she doesn't react to. But I'm now actually gonna sort of have a bite. She's sort of looking, but I'm not looking at her now. But when I say this word, treat, come over here. Okay, sit down, wait, stay there. Right, wait, no, wait, sit. What do I want? Good girl. And what do I want? The other paw. Okay, there you are. Buttered toast for Bushcraft and Canoe dog. She's even wagging her tail like, oh, I'm loving this. But I wouldn't give her any brunch, any of the food out of the mess tin, because it's got onion in it, and onions are toxic to dogs. So yeah, there's some more over here if you want some more treat. Yeah, I'm going to give her the rest of that. Okay people, this is the stuff just here that I'm going to take with me. It's just coming up to 3 PM in the afternoon, so I'm going to give myself about 2 hours out on the water. I might knock something up to eat on one of the banks. So I'm still digesting that brunch. That was really nice and filling. But this stuff here, it's my clothing, some rubbish, the shelter kit. This ground sheet was originally, when I set off, in this bag, which is the carry bag that came with the canoe. But I just rolled it up and put the inflation pump in there with the tube, a sponge, that seat, and sometimes my shelter kit, but it was mainly that ground sheet. What I decided to do was always keep a roll of this handy, normally in my pouch or pocket or one of the pockets on the, so it's easy accessible from somewhere. I'll just wrap that round. Just easy to use. I know it's insulation tape, as long as you don't stretch it too far, it'll fasten and do a temporary job, because I want to keep that together. I don't need the ground sheet because I previously wrapped the pump in there and then of course cleared up the ground sheet, so I thought, right, I'm going to keep all this stuff together and then I'm going to go and hide it in the undergrowth somewhere, really somewhere all camoed up. And right, okay, let's have a bit of entertainment. Karsh, bring me the stick. Bring it to me. Bring it to me. Good girl. Give it to me. No, don't drop it. Give it to me. Give it to me. Up here. Give it to me. Give it to me. Up here. Give it to me. Give me the stick. Give me the stick. Good girl. Okay, ready? Firstly, I would not advocate throwing sticks. I know I'm going to throw this one, but I'm going to spin it just at a short distance, and I know it will land before Karsh can get there. But a lot of people, I've seen them throwing sticks like that, and what happens, they spin, they dig in the ground and maybe stick up, and by the time the dog runs, the dog can get impaled on it. Whee, jumping up. Trick's already started. And it's happened to her, and she was in the vets for 2 days thanks to an associate of mine taking her out for a walk, throwing a stick like that. See, like, she's really dashed off and I haven't even thrown it yet. She dashed off and impaled herself on it, but carried on playing, because if you imagine the stick was sort of like that. One out, move, good girl. The stick was like that. She's running towards it, gets stuck on it, topples over, and ever since then she's got a vulnerability in the centre of her chest. Haven't you, dog? Yeah? Okay, so I'm just going to... ready? Okay, sit down. Good girl. Ready? What'd you say? Speak to me. What? What'd you say? What'd you say? Speak to me. That's it. Ready? Good girl. Bring here. Good girl. Oh, that's the cabaret over with, and I'm going to get out on the waters in a moment. Okay, as you can see, I'm out on the waters. There's still a lot of life in the old Thames yet on a Sunday afternoon. There's a lock up there. Now and then there's a little bit of a breeze, which really makes it nice, but there's no breeze at the moment and the air's very still, and it's really sort of hot and humid. So I'm going to make my way up there now. And there's the weir with the step bridge going over the top of it for sort of access. So as I was approaching the lock, I just pulled up in this little side alleyway of water and just moored up here. And there's the lock house, but you can see how busy it is. People waiting. So gone from an environment which was totally out in the bush and the wild to where it's a little bit more people-ified. Right, I'm going to go walkabout now. So getting onto a bit of terra firma now. Oh well, at least I know where to come if I want to do some flint napping. Make little handmade devices and sell them on eBay. Maverick Outdoors. Mind you, if this wall disappears, you know what to come looking for. I think I'll just go about 100 metres and then go back and then have a little wander walkabout near the lock. Okay, barren ground over there. Come on. There's a portage point just on the other side of that concrete reservation where that houseboat is now. And just over the other side, if you come up the other side, you come to a weir. But on the other side of the lock house, just there, there's a portage point that I've used before, that I've actually featured in a previous video. Oh, I decided to sit on this little offshoot riverbank. Just have some chill time really. I just fancy sitting down and being with a bit of civilization, go from the total opposite of being right in the middle of bushes and trees where no one can see you and you don't even know anyone except for people shouting and competing rowing, to a sort of busy Sunday. There's a little bit of a breeze that's kicked up, which is quite nice actually, because I was getting pretty hot. I'm just going to chill here for a bit longer. Little streamy bits of cloud, but I mean you can still see the sun's right up there, really gleaming. So I might just take a slow paddle back. It's about 1.5 miles, and then of course I've got another just under an hour's paddle to get home. So I'm still not that hungry. It's now 4:30. Got about another sort of hour and a half till I might eat about 6 o'clock. Anyway, I'm waffling on because I'm so chilled. Dog's sitting down. Okay, that lock is about just over 1/2 mile behind me, and there's another little tiny narrow island here, but sign just there saying private, no landing, no mooring, and there's also bits of barbed wire around it, so you know you have to be careful. Not all land and bits of waterways are easily accessible. Anyway, before I get the launch is slowing down so I don't get too much of the wake behind me. I'm going to go that way. Okay, so I'm back on a little bit of a quieter bit. There's a bit of traffic coming towards me, houseboats and what have you, but here I am right in the middle of the deep, ancient, historical River Thames, and I'm ready to go off down that way beyond that bit of central land. Land ahoy. You look that gosh. Perfect bit of landing. Just have a little quick look, but we're not going to go in there, but you can see it's a really great place to moor up, and a bit of wild camping terrain over there. Anyway, but I've got to go around there. Maybe gosh, yeah. Okay people, it's now 6 o'clock in the evening. I've got 2 hours left of daylight. I want to get back to putting, so it's going to be just about an hour's paddle to get back. So and the breeze has kicked up. Loads of geese, Canadian geese have been flying around today. Honking about as always. Yes, so the breeze, a couple of times when I was actually coming upstream, although there's no real current to it, the breeze obviously gives a bit of a wind factor and resistance, so it can sort of cut your potential of movement and tracking on the water by 1/3 to 1/2, especially if it blows against you. So of course a bit like going up a half-speed escalator, you're going up it, it's going down, you know. So it's that sort of comparison. So I want to give myself a good hour to get back. So instead of the vegetable medley with the tuna and that, I'm not that real hungry to cook something up, so I'm just going to have this bit of calories. It's nice and sweet, long life rice pudding, and I've got some biscuits, a bit of chocolate in there, and I'm just going to make up a brew basically. That'll do me. So by the time I've knocked that down my throat, kitted up the canoe, put everything in it and get back, I should get the majority of the getting out of the waters and sort of loading up the car and what have you before it gets dark. I mean, I don't mind it, I've done it loads of times, putting in the dark and also getting out in the dark, but it's just a chill factor. I just want to go back nice and relaxed, not have to put the head torch on, scrimping and scraping about trying to see where everything is. So I'm just going to do the chill factor, just have this little snack, paddle back, and by the time I'm ready to sort of, the last thing I actually put in the car is the canoe, the last thing I roll up, put it in the boot, so I can put all my kit bags and everything away in the daylight. And then just as I put everything in the boot to drive off, it will just be dusky dark. So I'm just going to have this little refreshment, still chill, nice little breeze, but the sun's up there, glinting, trying to get through those branches. Hence that's why I'm going to sort of sit under the tree and where I can see a little bit of sunlight just to finish off the day. Perfect end to a perfect weekend. Brew and bickies. Bring it on. So I've just knocked up my brew, so cheers everyone. As I say, perfect end to a perfect day. So by the time I tied up, it took me about 10-15 minutes to load up the canoe once I finish this. So I'll be off in about 15-20 minutes, get back as I say before it gets dark. So it's just a chill factor, loading up and what have you. And then I'll be off. So once I finish this brew, I'll be away. So thanks for joining me. I hope it's all been of interest. I really appreciate your support, all the positive feedback. You know, if it sort of motivates you and inspires you to get outside, which I know I'm getting a lot of feedback that it has for a lot of people, even some people, you know, sort of message me, so I haven't got my canoe out for 20 years, saw you out and about and it's made me get it out, clean it up, and they've gone out paddling. So as far as field as Canada, America and even the UK, so it's brilliant, you know, just in the outdoors, out in nature, chilling, bushcrafting, wild camping, you know, sort of self-sufficiency, looking after yourself and just learning things and just applying them to the outdoors, living outdoors. That's what it's all about for me anyway. So again, thanks for joining me, appreciate your support, and I'll catch up with you in another video soon. So cheers, take care, outdoors it and safe people.